Hello, am I audible?
Am I audible to?
Yes, it was.
There is no echo, right? Please check it out.
Yes, you're audible. Yes. So let me 1 second. Please make me host.
Already you are post.
Right now you have started, so you are host.
Just a minute, I will do. Hello, Kalpesh sir, are you operating that PPT?
Yes, I'm operating. I'm a presenter now.
Okay. Then you can do. Okay. So I no need to share. You may stop sharing.
Sure. Please make me host.
Just a minute, I am
Uh,
trying for
I'm
that.
able to operate all, right? So mute, unmute.
I know, but there is a problem. Yeah, here I cannot do. Let me do.
Dr. Somnath, are you there?
Yes, sir, I am there.
Okay, thank you.
Am I audible now? Please let me know if there is any echo.
Yes, yes. Now I am host.
Mm.
Yes. So now it's 6:50. We start at 7 o'clock sharp.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it my PPT visible? Are you operating, Kalpesh sir?
Yes, I'll be operating. You just say me next, 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 then I will do it in that way.
Okay.
Okay.
Kalpesh, I'm just confirming my screen reader is not coming in the audio.
Okay,
Just please
okay.
let me.
Now it's in the first slide right now.
First slide only, but there is no screen reader sound,
Screen
right?
reader. Good evening, participants. Thank you very much for joining. We'll be starting soon at 7 o'clock sharp.
Kalpesh sir, please start it.
You can start. Dr. Somnath, over to you.
Am I audible and visible both? A very good evening to each and everyone. Today is our second day of 10-day online capacity building program on disability laws. It is indeed a pleasure for us that as resource person we have Dr. A. Marisport, who is working as an assistant professor of law at Gujarat National Law University, who is having a teaching experience of more than 13 years. He teaches different subjects like criminology, victimology, arbitration management, etc. He is a member of different societies relating to victimology and victimology and criminology. He has presented numerous research articles in different international as well as national seminars. He has different publications in different journals and books, etc. He has completed a research project titled Implementation of Victim Compensation Scheme in the state of Gujarat, which is funded by National University of Juridical Sciences, NUJ, Bengal. Now, today, sir will be delivering his insights relating to rights and entitlements of disabled people under RPWD Act. So let us hear, sir, let us enlighten by sir's valuable deliberations. Thank you.
Yeah,
Over to you, sir.
thank you, sir, for your. You can say that elaborated as kind of introduction to me. Thanks, Kalpesh sir, for making this initiative. Here, he interested very vital topic to me to deal with this. RPWD Acts, Rights and Entitlement. Actually, it's a kind of first chapter, rather second chapter in the RPWD Act. However, the remaining RPWD Act provisions are connected with these provisions. So it's very vital to get into this discourse, right? Yesterday, Sharda ma'am discussed various models of disabilities, that is, which is connected or which are connected to uh, disability conceptualization, or you can say that social construct of disability. Today, I am highlighting 4 such models are influencing disability related policy making. These are all the models are not there in my slides. So that's where I am discussing. One is charity, another was medical, third one is social, fourth one is right-based model. Right. So here, let us look at charity model. Charity model, it considered disability a person who always needs support. So we have to give something for them. Right? So we all are know charity. So for education is a charity, for employment is a charity, marriage is a charity. So many of the things done in the form of charity. In fact, initial days of disability upliftments based on charity. It has advantages and disadvantages. Let me highlight the limitations. If you go by the charity, the ability of the disability persons or disabilities might not have explored. Rather, his dignity at stake. He feels that always we have to depend. Then comes medical model. So medical model says that disability having some medical impairment. As a result, what happened? You have to go for some kind of medical treatment or medical aids or some kind of substitutes to make yourself as par with abled. There are advantages and limitations. Yesterday, ma'am has dealt. Then, social model. So, society is the one creating the barrier. It's not the disabilities, they have the barriers. Right? So, this is what the social model is. Then comes right-based model. In fact, a very few countries getting into that model. Of course, it is in the discourse. So we are also slowly moving towards that right-based model. So right-based model talks about like abled, disabled also have all the rights and entitlements. Now let me give the policies how these models are influencing. First of all, charity. Yearly education of disabilities done by missionaries, be it deaf, be it blind, or be it some of the students with mental health issues. I'm talking about 1850 to 1900 and up to 1970, 1980, we have that. So this happens. Then we have medical model. Please remember RPWD Act, certain extent retain that medical model coupled with social model, and it tried to achieve right-based model. Some people may agree, some people may disagree. I always welcome the disagreement, right? Let us move the historical background. Next slide, please. So here, how RPWD Act come? Yesterday, ma'am has highlighted various points. So I'm just keeping it very vital. Pre-legislation, we have policies on disabilities here and there. And we have some education-oriented approach. Potari committee and some other committees, they have recommended some of the changes. That's how we have special education and integrated education come into force. Right. Anyway, Bhubadi sir will dealt with the education angle, but we should know what actually happened. Before 1995 Act, we have some kind of recognition of disabilities in the education and governmental jobs. However, it was not that much easy. There were some fighting, like NFB and some other associations filed cases, right? And one direct explanation we get it from Indra Sahani case, horizontal versus vertical reservation. There they dealt with disabilities in a lighter note. So disability reservation is a kind of horizontal reservation. So that's a connection. So after 1995 Act come into force, which had 4 disabilities. Then we have National Trust Act that actually highlighted some of the additional disabilities like autism and more connected disabilities. Then we have UNCRPD, United States Convention on Rights of Persons with Disability. So December 3rd, it got concluded. So that's where we used to celebrate it, December 3rd, World Disability Day. Anyway, let us move forward because our RPWD Act, certain extent, taken the cue from UNCRPD. What UNCRPD told. In fact, these points I have taken it from the preamble of RPWD Act. For the time restraint, I haven't compared UNCRPD and RPWD, but there are some comparisons, which provisions are as it is and which provisions are some modification, right? Whenever I discussed, I may highlight. Now, please remember the first point, respect dignity and freedom to joy. That is individual autonomy. This is a vital aspects. The non-discrimination and effective participation. And in the human diversity, disability also a part that we have to recognize. Then equality of opportunity. Please remember this equality of the opportunities in our constitutional law discourse, we used to discuss. Equality talks about equality of law and equal protection of law, right? So that's where that disability related discourse come into the second part. We cannot take everyone as equal when we are framing certain beneficial policies. UNCRPD include accessibility, equality between men and women. Here you have to consider disability men and women. Then identity of the disability, very vital. If I want to known as a blind, let me known as a blind. Why should I change my identity because of somebody? Right? Now, with regard to constitutional provisions, already I highlighted in the slides, there are some debates whether we should have express mention of disability in the constitution itself or not. It's very interesting debate. Some scholars argue we are having speaking constitution, so it automatically covers. Whereas somebody told there are some places it has expressly highlighted. Then why cannot we have such special provisions? Right? Even I will highlight some of such arguments, how far relevant in the current context. Now let us move for the definitions. And please remember, I am going to highlight some of the definitions and some definitions with provisions. Remaining definitions, the rest of the faculties who are taking the classes, they will dealt with. First one. Please remember the definition of persons with definite disability, which includes who is having long-term physical and sensory, right? And intellectual. Please remember mental and intellectual separated here. That's how we have learning disability, right? So these four elements are there. Then you can consider so and so as disability. Now, second is interesting. Now, this is connected definition. That's where I kept it next to the PWD. So if their disability make it barrier, then only you can consider that that person is a person with a disability. So which are the barrier? Communicational, cultural, political, social, structural. Okay. What is attitudinal barrier? Anybody? What is communicational barrier? Kalpi sir, could you share the logo that our browser? 1 second, if possible. That front line.
That center logo.
No, yeah, the three logos. Even that today's event you highlighted, right? That photo also you can share it. That's not an issue. Even all the three logos are there.
Sorry, which one? Our center logo or?
No. Today's event you have made separate poster, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, please, sir.
1 second.
Actually, when we discuss the barriers with some other examples, we may or may not able to realize. Please remember, this course is not a kind of sharing only. Actually, the intention of the Kalpesh are to make you have an empathy. Okay, have an empathy. So that's where it's very important. Kalpesh sir, you have shared with me that poster.
Yes. I'm just doing 1 second. I'm just
Okay. So here, let me put a cultural barrier. Any kind of ceremony, be it marriage or be it temple function, if you are not allowing somebody to enter because of disability, or sometimes, actually, I'm telling you, there are some temples at Gujarat or Tamil Nadu, even some other places, even some other cultural places also, they have that kind of steps wherein which climbing is too tough. Even ramps and lifts may not be there. Then how somebody will climb? Right. Second, if you look at attitudinal barrier, how this person will do this task? In fact, many of the PWD people got selected in highest post. Still, attitude of the people, even higher authorities, make them vulnerable. Many of the banking staffs, especially visually uh, impaired or blind, they are facing high humiliation because of not getting promotions. Right? So that's where we have to look at it. Now, Kalpesh sir might have shared that logo. If you look at it, it is an image. Within that image, three logo. Now, in a general parlance, visually impaired may not able to read. Okay, if he use some image recognition software, then he can do. However, there are some software which develops images which may not help them to, even if they try to read also, it may not allow them to read because of the security. Now, if you look at GCDS logo, we highlight one thing. The logo consists of capital letter GCDS, then in a braille. Now, what it means? It's a narration of logo. Why we need that? That's where the accessibility, that barrier free, understand, rather service provider come into picture, right? So we should think on this way. Now, sometimes if I make my PPT with full of audio and I am not providing audio explanatory note for deaf, I'm creating a barrier too, right? So this is very, very important to note. Please remember, we cannot list out so and so only barriers. No, it might vary place to place and requirement of the PWD, right? Now let us move to the specified disability. Please remember, RPWD Act given PWD as one definition and specified disability as one definition. So please remember, PWD definition as par with UNCRPD, whereas specified definition is a narrow one. But there are some cases wherein which some disabilities are included in through the kind of some explanatory note. Okay. Now, why specific disability? We should look at it. If we have to look at let us say employment or education, some reasonable accommodations, then in general, I'm not telling overall, in general, these benchmark disabilities and disability who are in need of high support, they are given priority. That's where the specified disability come into picture. So here you have to look at the schedule 1 of Disability Act, which talks about 20, which talks about 21 disabilities. Excuse me. So here, sorry for the disturbance. Here we have 21 types of disabilities. Actually, these 21 types, excluding certain types, earlier types, if you look at it, PWD Acts included, and this National Trust Act. And we have learning disability, and you can say that Parkinson's disease, that is chronic neurological conditions, some disabilities have been added, and dwarfism have been added. Now, yesterday, ma'am has highlighted one invisible disability. Even if you look at me, I am facing albinism. Forget about my blindness. Does my albinism cause any disability or not? There are some answers. Yes. Does it recognize standard disability? That's $1 million question. Right? So, like us, there are some disabilities which are not expressed under RPWD Act. Yes. Okay. Kalpesh sir, move next slide. Look at that slide, especially benchmark, which is set by Indian government. 40 or above. So please remember, if it is measurable or unmeasurable, generally that 40% threshold have been kept. If somebody is falling below 40%, what we can do? Whether we can get such entitlements or rights or not. So for this, Vikas Kumar judgment is very important. In fact, the future sessions you will have more deliberate on Vikas Kumar judgment. This is very vital. Actually, it overruled many judgments. Here, in this context, Vikas Kumar judgment recognized invisible disabilities also entitled for certain reasonable accommodation. Reservation, there may be issues, but reasonable accommodations as far as education or job related, they can. This is what it had. One definition I missed it, because purposefully I missed it. You may have an employment session, there they will take it. However, we should remember for today's discourse, especially section 3, establishments include public and private establishments, that is companies. So all the entities are equally responsible, especially with regard to employment related facilities to the PWD. Now, this slide is talking about PWD who in need of high support. Please remember, this high support needs generally arise who lost both legs, or who lost both hands, or there may be some mobility issues like muscular dystrophy or dwarfism, that is in an extreme end. Then you may ask, so if somebody is having 100%, actually we may not determine by the percentage, though in general practice 70% or 100% they may take it into account. However, in reality, it's not the case. Case to case, you have to decide. Especially persons with mental health issues, if they are crossing above 70%, so they may falling under this category. Similarly, thalassemia and Parkinson disease, so those people may falling under if the condition is severe. Now let us come into the rights and entitlements. Now section 3 talks about non-discrimination. Very interesting. Which are the things are supposed to be ensured by the government for the PWDs? Equality, right to dignity, right? And respect his or her integrity. So these three are very vital. And appropriate government has the application to utilize the PWD in providing appropriate environment, and there is no discrimination on the basis of disability. Please remember, there is a caveat. I just highlighted one point, but this section has another thing. If there are some occasions you cannot include disabilities in a reasonable understanding, then that discrimination is allowed. For example, army job. Okay, let us move forward. And because of their disability, no disabilities liberties supposed to be curtailed. And you are blind, have you traveled? You are locomotive, have you traveled? That should not be the case. Actually, there is a literature, a Canadian authors, they have written a book, Disabilities, in this one chapter, Disability and Citizenship. You are giving equality, freedom, and liberty, everything. What if as disability we are unable to enjoy this? How we can call it? We can call us citizens of so and so countries. So they raise this contention. So please remember, if you are not providing such platform for them to enjoy, then we cannot say that they are citizens. In fact, I discussed that equality or liberty, these concepts, right? If you look at, generally defined on ableist perspective, whereas if you look at disabled perspective, every person is different, right? Anyway, now let us move. Ensure reasonable accommodation. This is very interesting. appropriate government has the obligation. What is reasonable accommodation? Now, two definitions I have put it. One is discrimination, then reasonable accommodation. Any distinction, restrictions, exclusions on the basis of disability. Now I'm giving the example. Now if Kalpesh sir is calling me only for disability session, no other session if he is not calling me, is it a discrimination? Yes, no? I want your response. Yes or no? So many people are saying yes. Why it is a discrimination? Why it is a discrimination? Somebody? Or please write it in the chat box. Because we have to cover a lot. Why it is? Anybody? Okay. Actually, it depends upon the situation. If I'm only expertise in that,
A
if
couple
he's,
of, sorry for interruption. A couple
yeah,
of
yeah, please,
participants, they responded
yeah, please, sir.
by Ayan. Knowledge is
Yeah,
not limited by disability. Second by Ritu Singh, because that is not inclusive. And
okay.
third
And
one response, because it is an assumption that you are only good at this because it affects you.
yes, yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you for all the respondents. Right. So here we understand. So as a subject expert, you have to give the option to PWD faculties also. If they are good at the other subjects, let them come and take. Right. Now, for your convenience, I'm using two devices. One device I'm using for mine, where it's I am hearing my screen reader audio. Whereas other, it's only you, my audio will be available. Please remember, there are some blind teachers who use their own device. Definitely screen reader audio will reflect, especially WebEx platform doesn't allow to unmute. Though we don't want to share the audio, but it provides. But there are some people who want to read side by side with other device and speak. So in that case, you have to allow them to use some locomotive if they required different set of seating, height and width, you have to modify. So that's where reasonable accommodations come into picture. And please remember, there is technicality which could favor employee or appropriate government, unnecessary barriers to the employer. However, please remember that we should not consider as restriction. Actually, it should not create a unnecessary barrier. Please read this definition comprehensively. If you read it very off, you might confuse. So here what it says, any modification or facilitation which enable him further. Doesn't create any hardship. Right? So this is very, very vital to ensure. Now, Musa, here you may look at accessible building, universal design later, but for the time being, since we are discussing about discrimination and government supposed to ensure certain aspects, which includes providing barrier-free environment. So here, public building. Please remember, it doesn't differentiate government buildings and private buildings. Even any mall run by private player used by the public, so that's constitute public building as per this definition. I don't want to read the definition now. Now, public facility and services. Next slide. Okay, public facilities and services. Look at it again. Government, it's not only include governmental services. Please remember, cultural, leisure, recreational, career advancement, all the services are included. Let us say Kalpesh sir is conducting FDB. So this is also kind of service. Okay. Now, since we are talking about discrimination, one interesting thing, I don't know how many of you notice this, because nowadays what happened, laws are not amended to that particular act. For example, consumer protection. It might not amended by Consumer Protection Amendment Act. There are some other legislation could amend. For example, Mediation Act, which amended Consumer Protection Act, some of the provisions. Similarly, Kalpesh sir, next slide. We have this Personal Laws Amendment Bill, rather Amendment Act, sorry, 2019, which amended personal laws, Hindu Marriage Act, Muslim Marriage Act, Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act. So the about 5 legislations it got amended and said that leprosy is not the ground for divorce and other consideration, inheritance or other aspects. Right? I don't know how many people while studying family law come across this one. This is very, very vital. Now, right to marriage of disability, it's a big topic, especially women with disabilities. We have a different kind of discourse altogether. For the time constraint, I'm referring myself, but there are some literatures which talks about that. Now, section 4, women and children. All children, like able children, have the equal view and expression depending upon their age. And government supposed to ensure women and children are enjoying their equal rights. Why we need special provisions? Please remember, if you look at the data, compared to men, women and children with disabilities are more vulnerable. So that's where we have this provision. Now, move to next slide. Section 5 talks about community living. So here it talks about appropriate government ensure the persons with disabilities live within the community. There should not be any exclusion. Right? Okay. Section 6 is very important. Protection against uninformed research and torture. Ta- that is, disabilities should not be subjected to inhumane or torture or any kind of third grade treatment. And no person with disabilities should not be subjected to any kind of therapeutic or non-therapeutic research without their consent. Actually, I would like to give some illustrations here. It's a real life examples. When I was hospitalized, the doctor took my 3/4 CCTV, sorry, CT scan, and put it in the CCTV and looked at. And he discussed with his students. See, this is a unique case. There are this side developments and there are this side some kind of issues. And this is something unique because sudden alterations also there. So we can write about this case in our medical journal. Definitely it will be published. We have very unique case and we are treating them. So here they are talking about me. They are using me, writing a paper. Should am I not consented? What do you think? As a disability, should they get my consent or not? Forget about disability. As a patient, am I have the right to be consented or not? See, yes or no? Okay, I'm getting responses. Thank you. Now, in reality, what happened? They used it and published it. Please remember, it's not only my case. Many of such things are happening in PWDs. I'm talking about women and children in the previous slide. There are certain research, researches done with PWDs who are not having sound background, right? So they should be protected by the government. This is what section 6 says. Now section 7, very interesting, protection against abuse. Abuse, violence and exploitation. Here I would like to bring attention to article 23 and 24, right against exploitation. That also applies to PWD. So which kind of protection? And if the appropriate government come to know that somebody is subjected to such violence, abuse or exploitation, then it can provide some kind of remedies, some kind of procedure to report, then provide legal remedy. It could be executive magistrate level or sometimes police could register the case. That is steps to rescue, rehabilitate such victims. Now, please remember this provision talks about complaint to be given to the executive magistrate by the PWD or well-wisher of the PWD, including NGO, who notice such violation or such abuse. Please remember it could be family, or it could be education institution, or it could be some disability institution themselves. Actually, I come across one of the institutions which send the people who are stayed in the hostel to collect uh, food from various places and distribute to the disabilities. And somebody, they send PWDs for collecting donation also. Whether it's exploitation or not, you decide. Now, what happens if the executive magistrate consider that yes, there is a merit in that complaint, so he can proceed with that. And depending upon the nature of the issues, he can take the steps. First one, rescue of the victim and may ensure the safe custody. And then please remember, if there is a possibility of filing the case in BNS or some other legislations, then he can suggest for proceeding. And please remember, police officer also under this section given the obligations to help the persons with disabilities. If he come across any abuse, then he can guide. Okay, how to come and where to go, everything he has to do. So here I mentioned VWD, it's nothing but victim with disabilities. Now, next slide, we can move it. In an emergency situation, section 8. Actually, this provision is very interesting. In case of war situation or a conflict or a natural disaster or some kind of national emergency, how the government supposed to take measures. As per the Disaster Management Act, you have NDRA, SDRA, and district level authority, which makes the plans. So what RPWD Act says, whenever you are invoking disaster management plan, give priority to disabilities. District disability authorities supposed to ensure that list of PWDs in that particular districts are known to them. Now, some interesting live example. During COVID-19, on particular day, everybody was locked up. Fine. But what about PWD? Here, many of the PWDs are staying in the shelter home. Previously, right now also. Now, suddenly, if you ask them to leave, where they will live? Some people may go if the place is near. If it is remote, where they will go? Here, conditions like thalassemia or some mental health issues who are in need of frequent counseling or therapeutic treatment, how they will go. So during COVID-19, these aspects were missed. In fact, after 1 month, PWD were considered. Certain measures were announced, but by the time they announced, lot of damage done to especially disability who are whether who were in need of high support. So that's where this provision becomes very vital. So there were lot of studies. There are lot of studies impact of COVID-19 to the PWDs, to the PWD women. You can look at it. There is a NGO, the Rising Flame. They have such research reports. You can go through that. You can understand how much pain they suffer. Then section 9 talks about right to live with parents. Because of disability, they should not be excluded from the family. If the family is unable to treat, then court may order for keep the child in shelter home or some NGO. Otherwise, right to live with parents is a right enshrined under section 9. Now, section 10 is very interesting. Access to reproductive and family planning. Actually, I don't know how many of you come across this news. Generally, women with disabilities who are suffering mental health issues or locomotor are subjected to uterus removal operation. Anybody come across? Without their consent. In fact, one reported case in Pune, one of the NGO, one fine day took around 50-60 women with disabilities who are rather who were subjected to such uterus removal operations. Now, what about their reproductive rights and their family planning health? Who is deciding? We have to think about. Please remember, NGOs they themselves are doing. Sometimes parents they themselves come and say, okay, how we will take care. I used to take sessions for doctors. There we discussed. In fact, doctor also asked the questions. Sir, in this ethical dilemma, what should we do? Give the alternatives. So some doctors also start suggesting alternate options for the family. Right. So this section is very interesting. We have corresponding provisions for this section. So I'm not going to further touch upon it. Section 11, accessible election. I think this particular Lok Sabha election, some visible initiation has taken by election commission. If somebody is PWD, he can vote from home. Vote from home. Some other facilities also arranged. If as far as possible, the polling booth is accessible, they tried. Still a long way to go. especially political barrier we are facing. It's not only connected with election, even we have to think of political reservation to PWD, men and women both. Because this RPWD Act passed, how many disabilities were consulted? We don't have the answer. Even some of the rules framed under RPWD Act, the consultation base was very short, or sometimes you can say that one particular institution is being approached. But after demanding of various institutions, now somehow it has been streamlined. In fact, one attempt was made to decriminalize this RPWD Act provisions. However, all disability advocacy group, including NGOs, try to ensure that it should not happen, and government finally withdraw this RPWD Act decriminalization. That's how it works. So political representation is very much needed. Okay, now next slide. Accessible courts and quasi-judicial bodies, which includes all tribunals, labor, you can say that company, IP, everything. Then some of you might be asking, sir, courts, they themselves are in a rental building. How they make sure that accessibility? Yes, I understand. However, in the long run, we should ensure this. And in this provision, legal aid also mandated as per Legal Services Authorities Act. Already it is mandated. However, these particular provisions, it is reiterated. Not only that, all the public doc, even legal aid related, all the NLSA, DLSA portal, or that forms, schemes, everything made in accessible format. This is very clear. But there are some government portal, Bevan Redressal Pro portal, still not accessible. Right? That's a reality. Okay, section 13. Now, please remember, this section is very vital, which talks about legal capacity. So, disability on his own, inherit, own, and transfer the property. If there is a requirement, then he can seek the assistance. Otherwise, he can do. Again, if the person who is providing the support says that, no, I will withdraw the subject if you not transfer the property or not allow me to enjoy the property, then the support provider may be changed. In nutshell, the service provider or support provider of the PWD should not undue influence the PWD to make such property transfer. This is very vital provision. Actually, this provision is very, very critic provision. As far as disability activists are concerned, why that guardianship they have highlighted, limited guardianships. In nutshell, rather if you look at narrow view or nutshell view, it talks about persons with high support needs or disability with high support needs. In reality, it might affect. Let us say blind, who is not able to sign. For opening of the account, bank may ask to have a joint account. So there are different impacts. Already I discussed this financial inclusion. However, the legal capacity and guardianship related aspects make the disability to depend somebody. Right? Sometimes bank they themselves consider as guardianship and deny that opening of accounts or deny the checkbook. They may say that no, how you will use, somebody will cheat, as if able people are not faced any cheating. So that's the thing. Now please remember, district court has the power to appoint the legal guardian. Again, that legal guardian in a limited period, particular decision, at least certain extent, we can accept this particular provision because it's not a entirety. Even it says that if guardians are appointed under Guardians and Wards Act or any other law, still such guardians are considered as limited guardianship under RPWD Act. So that extent we can welcome this provision. Okay, now section 15 talks about create awareness about legal capacity to society. That is, disability can do this, can that. So that way, to give kind of sensitization program. I'm giving that example. If you are not knowing me that I am a person with disability, how you will able to treat me? Because Kalpesh sir has invited me ADR sessions and some of the victimology session also I took. Now, that time, if the students might know that I am a PWD, will they accept or reject? Or might they accept or reject? It's again subject to, but it matters. Right? So that's where this community living and social sensitization is very much required. Now, these are all the points are from the slides. Now I'm going to share certain examples and illustrations which connected with rights and entitlements. If somebody is persons with a disability, benchmark disability, again in the benchmark, one person is falling in 40 percentage, another person is, let us say, 70 or 100 percentage. Who will be preferred? Who will we prefer? What the institutions are doing? Please give the response. Persons who is having 40% will be preferred, or 100% will be preferred. Yes, please respond. Kalpesh sir, please check the chat box.
Yes, sir. Some are writing that Pooja Yadav has written both equally. Some 40%, 100%, 100%, 40, 10% disability. These are the answers given in the chat.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So here it's, please note, it is really happening if the institutions want to select. I'm talking about PSUs, because PSUs having the direct obligations under the provisions of RPWD Act, as I'm talking about chapter 3 and 4. They will prefer lowest of benchmark disability, so that their responsibility will be less. Okay. So that's where we have to understand how we should introspect and we should proceed. Now, there are some people who are having high percentage of benchmark disabilities and succeed numerous heights. So that's where we have to keep that in mind. Now, one interesting disability, many people misconfused. Learning disability. In teaching context, some people are slow learner, but learning disability is not a slow learner. There are some numerological issues, or there are some neurological impact which could affect their language, which could affect their numerical or some other aspects. So that's where we should understand disability properly. Accordingly, we should provide their reasonable accommodations. With this, I'm stopping here. If there is any questions, we can take it. Over to moderator or Kalpesh.
Yes, sir. It is really, it is a wonderful session. So now it is time to take some questions from the participants if you have got any. You may write the questions in the chat box even. Dear participants, if you have got any question, you may put the question in the chat box itself. Yeah. Sir, one participant, Ayan Anil Garg, he has put a question that is, please explain limited guardianship.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that question. Limited guardianship means, let us say, one particular transaction, or let us say some decision related to infertility or some other crucial aspects. If that person is falling under high support needs, so in that particular situation, that limited guardianship may be provided. If the parents are not there, unlimited guardianship, please remember, if the disability is comfortable with one person, that person only given. Some extraordinary situation, state consider as parent patriae and come forward. There are some cases Even Gujarat High Court also terminated the pregnancy of women with mental health issues.
So next we have
I'm
got
not
another
touching those
question.
cases because you will have such discourse in future. Yes, yes, Kalpesh sir.
Another question that we have got, that is the procedure of reporting complicated or simple?
Good question. In fact, I actually asked Kalpesh sir, how many of the persons with disabilities approach you for legal aid?
Legal aid.
Yeah.
Recently, one of the last few months, one of the person from Mumbai, Maharashtra, actually not Mumbai, I don't remember the district, Maharashtra,
Yeah.
I can say.
Yeah.
So somebody did something with him. So he 100% visually impaired. Right?
Okay.
He told me, sir, कुछ लोगों ने मुझे अंधा बना दिया. Who made me blind.
Okay.
So those things happen. I guided him what to do few months back, and recently again he called me. So I guided him, right, approach. There is a legal service authority. Make a complaint to NHRC because nothing is happening. So send mail to NHRC also, and then legal service authority, and then also make a complaint to Commissioner of Disability. So
Yes.
that way I guided him because I read, few months back. So
Yes.
that
Commissioner of
way,
Yes.
that's why I guided him recently. That was a very serious case, I would say. And he was happy, like, he was clueless what to do. But with my limited knowledge, I guided him what to do. Yeah, over to you.
Now, actually, Kalpesh sir, why I asked this question? That person somehow approached you, but there are many disabilities. They don't know how to proceed and how to approach and where to approach. Especially those who are in the shelter home. Family also, they have issues, and shelter home also they face, you can say that double victimization from the friends and from the authorities. And then talking about institution authorities. So in that case, how legal aid accessible to them? Now, please remember, portal is not user friendly, especially for visually impaired or blind. I don't know about locomotive, but in general, this sensitization we have to give. Now, as a law teachers, we might come across many of the PWDs. How many PWDs are really impaired? Those who are coming forward to take education in premier law schools, definitely they have that exposure. But what about students who are studying in government law colleges or some semi-urban law colleges or other institutions? How we can approach them? Not approach, reach them. How many legal aid videos or documents are having captions?
Yes. Actually, we are struggling with providing legal aid to, people at large. So let me tell you, I have not seen a single initiative focusing on legal aid for disabled people. Not a single. I
No,
don't remember.
actually, Kalpesh sir, this is what our notion is. Number of large number. That should not happen. Right? For PWD, at least we should sensitize this legal aid people. Then only they can approach. Not
True,
only
true,
this, even I am giving some illustration. Own Nirbhaya, everybody raised the candle and fought for that. Now, in Haryana, I'm talking about so-called Delhi NCR, one deaf girl subjected to such kind of gang rape. How many of us discussed? Similarly, one mentally disabled has faced such humiliation at Chennai. How many of us discussed? That happened pretty nearby. So look at that sensitivity and humility. Okay. Yes, I hope you got the answer. So procedure, again, it connected with attitudinal barrier. So it's supposed to be removed. And for deaf, there must be special helpline because they may use sign language. I don't know whether we have such app or not.
Okay, I think we
Yes.
can close now. We are running short of time already. It's exceeded time. Yes, over to Dr. Somnath.
Yes. Another question. Although the
No,
RPWD
sorry,
Act,
sorry. I think we should close. Sorry, I handed over to vote of thanks
okay.
because sorry, bot questions here. It will take a lot of time. Sorry, participant. Please you can ask other resource person. They'll be able to cover all the queries. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, sir, so much for gifting us such a wonderful session, such a insightful session. Definitely, it is an informative one. We have learned a lot. We all the participants have learned a lot from your deliberations. Once again, thank you on behalf of each and everyone. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Kalpesh,
Thank you. Thank you.
and thank you, moderator, all the
Thank you.
participants. Even if you have any doubts, please approach Kalpesh sir or me. I try to answer. Right?
Sure,
And
sure.
as far
Thank
as
you.
case laws are concerned, I wait for the other resource person to discuss. If they haven't covered, then I will share the case materials. Okay. Thank you.
Sure, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.